Welcome, dear listener, to a really fascinating deep dive today. We're looking into an extraordinary family saga.
Yes, it's quite a
We're
story.
going beyond just the surface of this personal narrative shared by one of our listeners. We'll explore generations of interconnected lives, all through the lens of karma.
Exactly. It's a truly unique case study we have here. It's packed with intricate relationships, dramatic shifts in fortune, and some pretty deep spiritual questions.
Right.
And by looking closely at these personal journeys, we can, I think, pull out some universal wisdom about how karma works and the lasting impact of the choices we make, hopefully offering some profound insights for your own life.
So let's get started on this journey then. We're going to unpack this incredible narrative, try to identify the karmic threads connecting all these events, and distill the deeper lessons hidden in these very human stories.
There's a lot here.
Yeah, prepare to connect some dots, maybe ones you haven't quite seen before. Okay, our journey begins with the listener's grandfather. His early life seems dominated by a pretty demanding job. He was a hunter.
And apparently quite a renowned one.
Yeah, he even earned the title Hunter of the Vajira Forest.
That's right. Yet his later years were, well, a complete contrast. Really difficult. He suffered a terrible stroke that left him paralyzed.
Oh, wow.
And he battled severe gout so bad it confined him to a darkened room. The listener actually remembers him just moaning in pain, these grotesque lumps on his joints like quail eggs.
Oh, that sounds horrific.
And even a foul odor, probably from severe bed sores. He lived like that for many years, finally passing away when the listener was only about 10.
That's just a harrowing picture. So what's the karmic perspective here? What could cause such prolonged, intense suffering?
Well, what becomes very clear is a powerful, direct karmic link. His severe gout, the paralysis, the prolonged pain, it was a direct result of panatapata karma.
The act of killing.
Yes, the unwholesome act of killing, accumulated both from past lives and his present life as a hunter, and also selling the hunted animals.
Okay.
And there's a particularly chilling detail that emerges. He apparently used cruel methods, specifically breaking the legs of captured animals,
Why would he do that?
to keep them from escaping, obviously, but also it kept the meat fresh longer, he thought. But it massively prolonged their suffering before he eventually slaughtered them.
Breaking their legs.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a level of cruelty that really gives you pause.
Precisely. And this specific intentional cruelty manifested directly in his own bodily suffering and paralysis later on.
Ah, the direct link.
A very direct link. And after death, this strong negative karma led him straight to a hell realm. Specifically, Yama Mahanarak, one of the great realms of intense torment.
And there?
There, he's continuously bitten and tormented by the very same kinds of creatures he once hunted and harmed so cruelly.
Goodness. So given that state he's in, can he receive the merit that the listener is dedicating to him now?
No, not directly, not in that particular hell realm. He simply can't perceive or receive it there. However, the good deeds you perform, dear listener, they aren't wasted, they accumulate.
Good.
They'll await him in Yamaloka. That's a kind of transitional realm where beings eventually review their actions when he's finally able to benefit from them.
So the merit builds up for him.
Yes. It really serves as a powerful reminder, doesn't it? How even actions we might consider practical or maybe necessary for survival, if they're rooted in such deep cruelty.
Well, they create such profound and devastating consequences that echo on, potentially for lifetimes.
It certainly makes you think.
Yeah.
Okay, let's transition now to the listener's father. His story sounds like quite the roller coaster.
Oh, it really is.
He started out very successfully, a cattle trader, a naihoi.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
Made him one of the wealthiest men in his village. But then, well, his personal life took a dramatically complex turn.
How so?
He was already, in a relationship with the listener's mother. But before they actually got married, he took a teaching job in Trat province.
And while he was there, he basically found himself in an arranged marriage with Melik, who was the village headman's younger sister.
Just arranged. Why?
Simply because of his status. He was a civil servant, seen as a good match.
So suddenly he has two partners. And it gets even more complicated.
So yes. After about 4 months, during a school break, he brought Melik back to his hometown. But then, on the return trip to Trat, he deliberately brought the listener's mother along with him.
Wait, why? What was he thinking?
Well, the intention, it seems, was to show Melik, look, I already have a partner, hoping she would then decide to leave.
Ah, a rather awkward plan. Did it work?
Not at all. Malik refused to leave. She apparently declared her love was too much to let go.
Wow.
So, the father ended up living with both women in the same house back in Lowy.
Both of them. Together.
Yes. He eventually had a daughter with Malik, and then 7 years later, the listener was born to her mother. The villagers even gave him a nickname, Shrirak, which sort of highlighted this highly unusual situation.
That is quite a remarkable setup.
Mm.
How do these intricate, sort of overlapping relationships even manifest in one lifetime? What's the karmic view?
Well, looking at the bigger karmic picture here is quite insightful. It turns out that in past lives, both the listener's mother and Malik had been wives to the father.
Oh, really? In different lifetimes?
In different lifetimes, yes. But crucially, all three of them had also performed meritorious deeds together in the past. And perhaps most significantly, they had collectively made a very strong aspiration, a wish, to be husband and wife again in future lives.
Okay, so their past connections, the merit, and that strong shared wish all came together.
Exactly. Their collective karma and those powerful aspirations ripened simultaneously in this lifetime, bringing them together in this complex shared existence. It wasn't random at all.
Fascinating. Now, Malek's life didn't get easier, did it? She
Yeah.
later helped her son-in-law butcher pigs for a year.
Yes, boiling water, singeing the hair, that kind of work. And subsequently, she suffered from diabetes, which unfortunately led to blindness in one eye for 10 years,
Oh, dear.
along with high blood pressure and kidney disease. Then she had a fall, lost the ability to walk for 2 years, and eventually ended up hospitalized. She was on a feeding tube, a ventilator, conscious but completely unable to speak.
What a difficult end. And the listener, unable to visit, asked her sister to talk to Melek about merit during this time.
That's correct, a very compassionate thought.
And was Melek actually able to understand those messages about merit, at such a critical point?
Well, she did receive some of it, but apparently her sister's explanation of dharma and merit wasn't entirely clear or comprehensive, so Melik's understanding was, let's say, partial.
But it still had an effect.
Oh, absolutely. As she approached her passing at age 72, her kamanamita, those are the karmic signs that appear right at the moment of death, they presented a confusing mix of good and bad karma.
Right.
However, because she had heard some dharma, even if it was only partially understood, her mind was able to achieve a significant degree of clarity right at the very end.
And that clarity is crucial, isn't it?
It's absolutely pivotal. That moment of clarity allowed her to effectively close the door to the lower realms of existence.
That's a really profound thought.
Yeah.
That even a little bit of understanding right at that 11th hour can make such a monumental difference.
It truly can. And this shift allowed her to be reborn as a general Bhumadeva. That's a common class of earth-dwelling deity or spirit. She resides now in a local celestial realm, apparently not far from the family home.
So she's okay in a sense.
Yes. And for you, dear listener, the advice is clear. Continuing to make frequent merit and dedicating it specifically to her will significantly improve her situation, her well-being, her resources, in all aspects of her new existence there.
Good advice. Okay, now let's circle back to the father's life. There was another huge turn, wasn't there, after leaving teaching?
Yes, another dramatic swing. He used his severance pay to buy some land.
Right.
And later, that land was sold for an immense profit. We're talking millions. It made him, once again, the wealthiest person in the village.
So that's good karma ripening.
Absolutely. A textbook example. It traces back to a specific event in a past life. He was invited to contribute towards building a temple.
Okay.
He donated actually only a small sum of money. But crucially, he did so with immense joy, real enthusiasm, and a very pure intention.
Ah, the feeling behind it matters.
Tremendously.
Yeah.
That specific quality of joy and the purity of his intention were the precise karmic drivers for the immense wealth that manifested for him in this lifetime.
But as we know, the fortune didn't last. He lost it all again through various failed business ventures, ended up poor again by age 79. So what explains that? Such a dramatic reversal.
This is where the intricacies of karma become really, really apparent and quite fascinating. This downfall was also karmically linked to that very same past life.
The one with the donation.
The exact same one. Later on, after making that joyful temple donation, he apparently had a disagreement with the temple treasurer.
The person who'd invited him to donate.
Yes, the very same person. And out of irritation, maybe some stinginess crept in, he actually demanded his donation back.
No. He asked for the money back after giving it with joy.
He did. And this act of reclaiming the merit, you could say, fueled by those negative emotions, well, it created a powerful karmic seed. a seed that ultimately prevented him from being able to retain the wealth that had initially risen from the good deed itself.
Wow. So it's not just the act of giving, is it? It's the sustained purity of intention and not having regret or getting angry about it later.
Precisely. That sustained intention, the lack of attachment or subsequent negativity, that's what truly counts in the long run for the karmic result to be stable.
That's a critical lesson.
It really is. It highlights for all of us, doesn't it? How seemingly small acts of irritation or regret, even ones that happen after we've done a good deed, can significantly impact the long-term benefits. They can undermine the positive karmic fruits we expected. It's a nuanced but incredibly powerful aspect of how karma works. Something for you to really reflect on, listener.
Definitely food for thought. Okay, turning now to the listener's mother. At age 50, she suffered from a very bewildering illness.
Yes, quite mysterious.
She became profoundly depressed, couldn't eat or sleep, refused to speak, just wasted away. And doctors were completely baffled.
Utterly baffled. Couldn't find a cause, couldn't help her.
Then a local village medium got involved.
Yes, and offered a rather unusual suggestion. She should accept an uphat spirit believed to be some kind of vice-regal spirit and build a shrine for it outside her home.
A spirit shrine. Okay. And she did it.
She followed the advice, and quite remarkably, her symptoms vanished immediately. Just like that.
Immediately.
Instantly, she became refreshed, started eating and sleeping normally again, a complete turnaround.
That sounds, well, almost miraculous, like a spontaneous recovery. What's the karmic explanation for something so dramatic?
Well, digging into her past lives reveals something interesting. The mother held a very strong belief in spirits in a previous existence.
Ah, a predisposition.
Exactly. It created a specific karmic seed or tendency. And in this life, this predisposition attracted subtle, etheric entities, specifically a particular group of earth-dwelling deities, Bhumadevas, who are known to be followers of a Vidyadhara.
A Vidyadhara, what's that?
A type of powerful, knowledgeable celestial being, sometimes associated with certain esoteric practices. And these followers, these Bhumadevas, were subtly afflicting her.
Causing the illness.
Yes, they were the unseen cause of her symptoms. So once she acknowledged and, in a sense, accepted them by building the shrine, their leader's followers simply stopped bothering her.
So they just left her alone.
Effectively, yes. Removing the source of her inexplicable illness led to the immediate recovery.
So just to be crystal clear, these spirits were real entities actively causing her suffering.
Yes, according to this insight, they were very real, specific Bhumadeva followers of the Svedara. Their stopping the affliction led to her recovery.
Right. Now, the listener is understandably wondering what to do about the shrine now. She's worried about upsetting her mother, or maybe even upsetting the spirits.
Yes, it's a delicate situation, but also an important one to address correctly. What you need to do, dear listener, is gently and patiently explain this whole karmic situation to your mother. The past belief, the attraction, the affliction, the reason for the recovery.
Once she understands.
Once she understands, the most beneficial path forward is for her to commit to living strictly according to the principles of Dharma. That means practicing generosity, maintaining good moral conduct, and developing her mind through meditation.
Build up her own merit and protection.
Exactly. With that foundation of Dharma practice, she need not fear these entities because, as we often say, our merit is greater. Then you should address these spirits residing in the shrine.
You talk to the shrine.
Yes, but with polite and kind words. Explain that you understand they are powerful beings, but they deserve to reside in a much more beautiful celestial palace, fitting for their status, not in a humble, earthly shrine like this.
So you're essentially suggesting they move on up to a better place.
Precisely. You invite them to aspire higher. Then, you ask for their permission to replace the shrine with a proper Buddha altar, making a clear promise to dedicate merit to them regularly from the new altar.
Okay.
Once this understanding is established and hopefully accepted by them, the old shrine can be carefully and respectfully dismantled. Then, a new Buddha altar can be built in its place, and later, a revered Buddha image should be invited to reside there.
That sounds like a very skillful approach.
It aims to resolve the situation with wisdom and compassion for all involved. And this whole situation really brings up a crucial point for you, listener.
Yeah.
How do deeply ingrained beliefs, even beliefs that might have brought temporary relief in the past, need to be carefully reevaluated and perhaps uplifted through the lens of a deeper, more accurate spiritual understanding provided by Dharma?
A very important question. Okay, let's move on now to the listener's youngest brother. This is another interesting turn. After serving 2 years in the military, he came home. Changed.
Profoundly changed, it sounds like.
Yeah. He went from being quiet to extremely talkative.
Yeah.
And he announced he was going to ordain as a monk and, crucially, never disrobe.
A strong declaration, and he did ordain.
He did. But his monastic journey, well, it's been quite unconventional.
How so?
He couldn't seem to settle in any one temple. Moved around constantly, never spending 2 consecutive rains retreats. The annual monastic retreat period in the same place.
That's unusual.
Eventually, he just started returning home, living in the family's Buddha room, of all places. He started collecting amulets and even began consecrating them himself, acting as if he were a senior preceptor.
Oh, my.
And remarkably, some villagers actually started taking these amulets from him.
That's concerning.
The listener, understandably, tried to explain to him that his actions weren't really appropriate for a monk living outside a monastery. He'd just leave when she confronted him, only to return when she wasn't around. His parents, who initially disapproved, eventually just sort of gave in to pity. They started thinking maybe he was mentally unwell since no temple seemed to want him long-term, and they just let him stay.
A difficult family situation. So what's the karmic background for this unusual behavior?
Well, his current state stems from a rather complex karmic history, going back very, very distant past lives. He did ordain properly within the Sangha, the formal monastic community,
Okay.
but he disrobed while still a novice.
Yeah.
Then, in more recent past lives, he ordained again, but this time outside of the recognized Sangha tradition. And during that time, he encountered a specific issue. What was that?
He fell ill, and to ease his symptoms, he started consuming something called medicinal liquor, essentially a fermented alcoholic medicine.
Huh?
He found that it made him feel, well, the insight describes it as dull-witted, or having a kind of mental fogginess, which helped him forget his pain, so he started consuming it frequently.
Becoming dependent?
Yes, he developed a dependency, though apparently he never became fully intoxicated in the way we usually think of it.
So using this medicine regularly led to a kind of dependency and had a mental impact.
Precisely. And that specific karma created the seed for his current state, the cognitive fogginess, the unusual behavior, the eccentric actions like consecrating amulets himself.
Yeah.
It's not full-blown mental illness in the clinical sense, but rather a subtle yet persistent karmic imprint affecting his mental clarity and judgment.
Right. I see. Now, is it actually appropriate for a monk to live at home like this in the Buddha room?
No, absolutely not suitable. A monk's discipline requires residing in a monastery or at least a sapaya. That means a favorable environment that's conducive to monastic practice, study, and spiritual development. Living at home undermines that discipline.
So what should be done?
You, dear listener, or perhaps someone else who he respects and can communicate with effectively, needs to step up and act as a kalyanamitta.
A spiritual friend.
Exactly, a good friend in Dhamma. This means patiently, kindly, but clearly guiding him towards finding a proper temple where he can live according to the monastic rules and truly benefit from his ordination. This guidance is really critical,
Why critical?
not only for his own spiritual progress and well-being, but also to prevent further negative karma from accumulating both for him, for acting inappropriately, and potentially for the family by enabling it.
Okay. But what's driving his resistance and this unwavering vow he made to never disrobe despite his current situation?
Well, the insight points to a combination of factors. He possesses extremely strong personal opinions, a deep-seated stubbornness, you could say. And this is compounded by what's described as a delusion of wealth, perhaps relating to the amulets or some other skewed perception of his status or future.
A delusion of wealth. Interesting.
Yes, and he genuinely, sincerely believes he made a lifelong vow and that he's following a true spiritual path despite all the outward signs suggesting otherwise. His conviction is strong, even if based on delusion.
That presents a really significant challenge, doesn't it? How do you effectively help someone who sincerely believes they're on the right spiritual path, but whose actions and perceptions seem to be heavily influenced by delusion and these profound past karmic factors?
It requires immense patience, wisdom, and skillful means.
Indeed. Now let's turn to your own inspiring journey, dear listener. This is quite a contrast. You were a teacher and you went through a very difficult divorce, right, from a husband who was womanizing and even had a child with a singer.
That must have been an incredibly painful period.
It sounds like it. But it seems it paradoxically led to a profound spiritual transformation for you.
Yes, that's often how it works. Great suffering can be a catalyst for great awakening. You attended a retreat at Funawat and really dove deep into studying Dharma.
And this study led to a real shift.
A huge shift. You gained such a clear understanding of life's truths, the reality of suffering, and especially the workings of karma, that you became genuinely, as you put it, afraid of generating more negative consequences for yourself.
A healthy fear, perhaps.
A very wholesome fear based on wisdom. And this insight motivated you to completely stop all your previous unwholesome habits. Things like card playing were mentioned. You just cut them out entirely.
That takes real commitment. And your efforts didn't stop with yourself, did they? You brought 10 of your teacher friends along to the retreat with you.
Wonderful, spreading the goodness.
And you installed a Dharma satellite dish at your school. Can you clarify what that means?
Ah, yes. That usually refers to setting up a system, often using satellite TV broadcasts or maybe internet streaming, to regularly play Dharma talks and teachings throughout the school for students and staff to hear.
I see. And you even created specific Dharma programs for your students. And this had noticeable positive effects on the children.
Clearly powerful and positive effects were seen. It's a testament to introducing these principles early.
And you even applied this approach, this understanding, to help your eldest son. His situation sounded quite dire.
Yes, the description was that he seemed to have lost his future due to drug addiction and serious academic struggles. A parent's nightmare.
But after he attended a retreat, presumably one you encouraged him to go to.
Yes, he underwent a remarkable transformation. He expressed a genuine wish to ordain temporarily. He returned to his studies, and now he's described as a truly good person.
That's incredible.
Devoted to making merit, completely free from drugs, and actually serves as an excellent, positive example to his friends now.
What a turnaround. And your youngest son also ordained at Wat Dhammakaya in 2005.
That's correct.
And now you and both your sons regularly visit the temple together. It's become a family path.
A beautiful outcome.
So what's the karmic background for this? For your family's profound spiritual journey emerging from such difficulties?
Well, what's really fascinating here, karmically, is that you and both of your sons have a history of cultivating merit with the Sangha in previous lives.
Past connections again?
Yes. Though the insight suggests it was sometimes done with full commitment and maybe other times less consistently, perhaps more in a supporting role, described as a supply line fashion, like providing requisites rather than practicing intensely yourself.
Okay.
Now, your eldest son's past association with bad friends in a previous life created the karmic tendency, the propensity for his drug problem, to manifest in this life.
Cause and effect.
Directly. However, his amazing transformation now, and importantly, your decision to share his story, perhaps like you're doing through this platform, that act of sharing will inspire countless others to change their own lives.
And that generates merit.
Immense merit. Merit that acts as a protective force, preventing future downfalls for him and bringing great benefit to you both.
This is where it gets incredibly powerful, isn't it? Your personal journey navigating through such hardship has become a template for profound change, a source of immense good that's rippling out far beyond just your immediate family.
Exactly right. Your ability, your strength to transform that personal adversity into such a potent force for positive change within your family, within your school, your community. It's a true testament to the transformative, liberating power of Dharma when it's understood and put into action. Really inspiring.
It truly is. Okay, finally, let's address the situation with your current husband. You've been together for just over a year.
Relatively new relationship, then.
Yes, and he sounds like a good person. Overall kind, rational, diligently supports his 4 children from a previous marriage.
The good qualities there.
He even ordained for 7 days, practiced Dharma, and apparently gained quite significant insight during that short period.
So he has some foundation in the practice.
He does. However, he has a very specific and maybe somewhat contradictory plan for the future.
Oh, what is it?
He intends to stay with you for 5 years. And during that time, his goal is to earn a large sum of money, millions specifically to provide for his children. And then after those 5 years, he plans to ordain for life.
Earn first, then ordain. A common idea, but often problematic. Where's the conflict?
Well, this is where a significant ethical and karmic conflict arises. His plan to earn this money involves developing a formula to create soft and aged liquor.
Liquor.
Yes. He claims his formula is even better than expensive imported brands, and his plan is to sell this formula to a major beer company.
Wow, okay. That's unexpected, given the plan to ordain. What's his reasoning?
Well, his rationale, as he explains it, is actually quite idealistic in a way. He says he wants to help the nation.
Help the nation by making alcohol.
By reducing the trade deficit from imported alcohol, you see. and by making good, cheap liquor available to Thai people, thereby keeping money within the country. It's a sort of blend of patriotism and commerce driving his idea.
An interesting, if perhaps misguided, justification.
Right. And you, listener, have obviously tried to explain the dangers, the severe dangers of alcohol, both its impact on society and, crucially, the profound negative karmic consequences for him if he facilitates its production and consumption. You've mentioned the hell realms associated with it.
The Sura hell.
Exactly.
Oh.
But he refuses to listen.
He completely refuses. He believes his own Dharma practice and understanding are superior to yours. He even, quite dismissively, said something like, a little novice shouldn't teach a Sangharaja. A Sangharaja being the supreme patriarch of the monastic order.
Ouch. That's quite a put-down.
And indicative of some significant pride or delusion there. Which brings us to a very difficult but very important practical question. How do we effectively help someone who is so deeply convinced of their own path, their own reasoning, especially when that path appears, from a clear karmic perspective, to be profoundly misguided and potentially harmful?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yep.
So let's be specific. What are the karmic consequences if he actually succeeds in developing and selling this liquor formula, despite his sincere intention to ordain later?
Okay. If he succeeds in this venture, even with his sincere intention to ordain for life later, which does offer some potential to close the door to the lowest realms, eventually the immediate consequences of this specific action are severe and quite specific.
Such as?
He will, at the very least, be reborn as a kumhanda. This is a type of fearsome, malevolent spirit or demon, and his rebirth will be in the Sura hell, the hell specifically associated with alcohol.
And what do Kumhandas do there?
His role there, his karmic destiny in that realm, will be to torment other hell beings, specifically those who are suffering the results of their own alcohol consumption in past lives.
So he inflicts suffering.
Yes, which is paradoxically itself a form of immense suffering for the being forced to do it. It's a terrible state.
And what happens after his time in that specific hell realm eventually ends? Does the karma just disappear?
No, unfortunately not. Upon eventually emerging from the Sura hell, the karmic residue, the lingering effect of that action, will manifest as profound mental and physical afflictions in future human lives.
Like what?
The insight mentions things like severe cognitive impairment, muteness, and forms of mental retardation. Really serious, long-lasting consequences.
That's devastating.
And it's even possible that these seeds of delusion planted by pursuing this alcohol business could begin manifesting before he ordains in this life. Maybe as increasing mental fogginess, distorted perceptions. Or they could even cause him to experience a profound mental imbalance after ordination, completely undermining his spiritual goals should he proceed with this plan first.
Goodness. Given these potential consequences, is his grand plan of developing and selling this formula to a major company even realistic?
Or is it part of the problem itself?
Well, from the karmic perspective provided, his idea of developing this formula and selling it to a major corporation is seen primarily as a manifestation of his delusion of wealth.
Ah, that phrase again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mixed with his inherent deep-seated stubbornness that we discussed. It's viewed as essentially an unrealistic fantasy driven by these negative mental states, not a viable or beneficial plan.
So the advice would be, the strong advice is for him to completely abandon this fantasy about the liquor formula, and, if he is sincere about his spiritual aspirations, to ordain now, not in 5 years after potentially creating massive negative karma.
And what about his concern for his children's financial future?
His 4 children, like all beings, have their own karmic merits from their own past actions. They will be able to sustain themselves through the ripening of their own good deeds. He doesn't need to engage in unwholesome activities ostensibly for their sake.
Right. So why is his thinking so fundamentally at odds with yours, listener? Especially when you're both seemingly on a spiritual path and he even has some Dharma experience.
Well, as the insight suggests, he likely had connections with the Sangha and the Dharma path in the past. But then he deviated, went his own way, primarily because he possesses extremely strong self-opinions.
Stubborn.
In essence, yes, a very deep-seated stubbornness. And this deeply ingrained trait, combined now with his current delusion of wealth regarding the liquor formula, is precisely what causes his ideas and motivations to conflict so sharply with your understanding and your desire to avoid all unwholesome actions and focus purely on wholesome karma.
It's a clash of fundamental views fueled by past karma and present delusion.
Exactly.
So Given all of this complexity, what is the most beneficial course of action for both of you moving forward together?
The most beneficial path, the highest goal for both of you, dear listener, is to commit fully right now to making merit together in every possible wholesome way in this lifetime. Generosity, morality, meditation, supporting the Dharma, all of it.
Build a strong foundation of good karma together.
Yes. And then, based on that shared foundation of merit, you should make a powerful, clear, unwavering wish together. Make the aspiration to be reborn together in Dasita Bhumi.
The seat of heaven.
Yes, and specifically, if possible, aspire to be in the special sector reserved for the bodhisattvas, the beings dedicated to achieving full enlightenment for the sake of all, and wish never to be separated again throughout your journey through samsara until you both reach nibbana.
That's the highest, most secure aspiration you can share.
It is indeed. Aim high together.
Wow. What an absolutely captivating and intricate deep dive we've taken today through this one family story. It's really quite something.
Yeah, and it truly is.
From the profound suffering of the grandfather linked so directly to his actions.
Yes.
To the incredibly complex relationships between the father, mother, and Melek, born from past lives and wishes.
The ebb and flow of fortune.
Right. The father's wealth gained and lost. Then the mother's mysterious illness and recovery tied to spirit beliefs.
The brother's unconventional monastic path rooted in past habits.
And then your own truly inspiring transformation, listener, turning hardship into a force for so much good.
This deep dive really illuminates, I think, the intricate and often very surprising ways that karma actually unfolds across generations, across lifetimes.
It's not always simple or obvious.
Not at all. Every action, every intention, even every strongly held belief, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant it might feel at the time, it casts a ripple effect far, far into the future, impacting not only ourselves, but everyone intertwined with us.
And it serves as such a powerful reminder, doesn't it, of the enduring power of understanding Dharma, the importance of right action, ethical conduct.
And persistent good intentions, holding on to that pure motive, even when facing the most complex personal or family challenges.
Absolutely.
So for you, dear listener, perhaps here's a final thought to carry with you from today's exploration. Take a moment to reflect on your own choices, both the big life decisions and the seemingly small, everyday ones. How do they align with the long-term well-being, not just the immediate comfort, but the long-term well-being of yourself and those you cherish?
That's a deep question.
And perhaps consider, are there any actions you're taking, maybe even ones that seem perfectly justifiable or practical on the surface, that might, when viewed within the vast and intricate grand karmic scheme, have unforeseen and profound consequences down the line? Take a moment to reflect honestly on your deepest intentions, because ultimately they are the true master architects of your destiny.